Hello, welcome to another episode of How to Do Atkins Low Carb. My name, of course, is Kent Alton, and I welcome you to another video. Today's episode builds upon the previous videos that we've done on how to do induction and really reaches it to the conclusion of how do you know when you're ready to move on to ongoing weight loss. This video is prompted out of one of the questions that I've read recently on our forums is, so when can I eat oatmeal again? And really at the base of the question is, when do I get to start adding all this additional food into my diet? As is most questions on the Atkins diet, the question is really a personal answer. It depends upon the person. One should really evaluate your readiness to move on from induction to ongoing weight loss by looking at the 4 questions at the end of chapter 13 of the book. The first question is, are you bored with the diet? Are you bored with the food selection of the solid vegetables and other vegetables that you're allowed? The second question is, how much weight have you left to lose? Those with more weight to lose probably should be thinking about sticking on induction for perhaps longer than those that only have 10 to 20 pounds to lose. The third question is, how metabolically resistant to the diet are you? Those that are typically more metabolically resistant should stay perhaps longer on induction as they conform their body to burning fat for fuel rather than carbohydrates. And the fourth question is, are you willing to accept the slowdown of the weight loss? Mind you, I said slower weight loss. I did not say that weight loss would stop. That is the fear for most Atkineers, is that when they go to ongoing weight loss, their weight loss will stall or stop. It will not. In fact, for some people it might even speed up. What are the reasons for ongoing weight loss? What is its goals? If the goal for induction was to get your eating under control and absolutely get you to burning fat for fuel, what are the goals for ongoing weight loss? The first goal is to learn about how individual foods will affect your metabolism as well as your eating. Some people cannot handle the addition of some food groups while other people add them without a problem. One of the administrators on Atkins Diet Bulletin Board simply cannot add bread back into his diet due to how it makes him feel afterwards. The second goal is to determine your CCLL, which is your critical carbohydrates level for losing. That amount is the amount of carbohydrates that you can eat per day and still expect to lose. It varies per individual and can be affected by the amount of exercise that you're doing in the day. If you're exercising more, maybe perhaps you can eat a higher level of carbohydrates than one who does not exercise every day. In order to determine that number, you are allowed to increase your net grams of carbohydrates by no more than 5 grams per week and each week until you reach a level in which you are no longer losing weight. And at that point, you know what your CCLL is. And you're free to eat up until that level and feel confident that that you can lose weight that week. During that week, you should also be paying attention to any particular food intolerances or cravings that might occur. If the food triggers you to overeat, perhaps you should think about backing off and trying that food again in the future, or perhaps write that rung off. There is no fixed time for each rung. You can spend as long as you want to spend. It could be a week, it could be a month, but the only fixed time for when to hop off ongoing weight loss is when you only have 5 to 10 pounds left to lose, in which point you need to start migrating to the pre-maintenance phase. By that time, one should have added all the additional foods back into your diet that you expect to eat long term, because that again is the main goal of this diet, is to be a long-term way of eating. It's meant to determine what foods you're going to have long term as part of your daily routine. A keen reader of the Dr. Atkins' New Diet Revolution book will readily recognize that he never once used the term rungs in the book. However, he did talk about carbohydrates level or glycemic index levels. And one of the reasons he divided the foods up into those levels, or what we call rungs, is due to their common reaction points for people. You add them gradually back in, take each item as a rung, therefore you can readily recognize if one is causing you an issue. Here are the rungs as proposed by Dr. Atkins. The first rung is vegetables. It's simply adding additional cups per day of vegetables back into your diet that are already part of the induction phase, both the salad and the other vegetables. Remember to add no more than 5 net carbohydrates per day in addition to what you're regularly eating. The first week, therefore, you could eat up to 25 net grams. The second week, you could eat up to 30 net grams. At that point, you could decide whether or not to move on to the next rung or continue adding on rung 1 to figure out CCLL. So the second rung is dairy. What's included in the dairy rung? Additional cheeses that you couldn't eat during induction. Soft cheeses like farmer cheese or cottage cheese. Yogurt. Some low-carb yogurts could be added into the diet. The third rung is nuts and seeds. You're allowed to add 1 ounce of nuts and seeds per day back into your diet. The fourth rung is berries and melons. Suddenly that opens up a whole new realm of fruits back into your diet, like strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, watermelon, cantaloupe, muskmelon. The fifth rung is the so-called fun rung. It's the alcohol rung. It's a rung that I really haven't added back into my diet, but you certainly are allowed to. Wine and other low-carb spirits are added back in. So if you want to have a 1 ounce glass of vodka, you certainly are allowed. One word of caution: while you're drinking the alcohol, the preferred fuel of the body at that point is the alcohol, and all fat burning will be stopped until the alcohol that is drunk is burned away. The sixth rung is legumes or beans. The seventh is fruits other than berries. So at this rung, you can start adding the other fruits in 5 carb increments. A 5 carb increment of apples is 1/4 of an apple. So if you want to add in the first week, you could add 1/4 apple into your diet per day. The eighth rung is starchy vegetables. At this rung, you can start to add in things like corn, carrots, even potatoes back into the diet. Recognize what they are doing to your body, and feel free to have them. Eat up to your CCLL. And the ninth rung is whole grains. So to repeat those rungs, rung 1 is vegetables, rung 2 is dairy, rung 3 nuts and seeds, rung 4 berries, rung 5 alcohol, rung 6 is legumes, 7 is fruits, 8 is starchy vegetables, and 9 is whole grains. Well, just as induction had some rules, here are the rules for ongoing weight loss. The first rule is keep your proteins and fat as the mainstays of your diet. Just because you're allowed to eat carbohydrates and additional foods does not mean that you should be eating them as the main fuel source of your diet. In fact, when one is eating those additional carbohydrates, you should especially be eating fats with that to assist in metabolic reaction to those. The second rule is increase your daily carbohydrate level by no more than 5 grams per day. The third rule is add new foods in the order as I listed previously. The fourth rule is add 1 new food group at a time. The fifth rule is eat a food item no more than 3 to 4 times per week that first week. The sixth rule is stop eating new foods immediately if they start to trigger additional cravings or provoke weight gain. The seventh rule is continue doing ongoing weight loss until you have 5 to 10 pounds left to lose. That concludes the introduction to ongoing weight loss. I want to thank you for watching another video of mine, and I look forward to doing more. Thank you very much.